They say you only get one chance to make a good first impression, so for Sports Interactive, let's hope that as the FM26 beta dropped last night, the first impressions of this new game are positive. In this video, we're going to have a look at the new UI. We're going to have a look at the tactic system. We're going to have a look at where things are. We'll even have a little bit of look at some of the match experience as well and the match day, as we have a quick whistle-stop tour of the first impressions of the FM26 beta. If you're new to the channel, my name's Tony, and over here we're going to be making plenty more content throughout the Football Manager 26 game cycle. We're going to make some hints and tips because, let's face it, we've all got a new game to learn. We might dip our toes into tactics. We might. We'll have some Let's Play content, of course, because I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We've got a beta save on the go at the minute with Sunderland. There's a link to that video coming up shortly as well, so keep your eyes peeled for that. If that's the sort of thing that you enjoy, feel free to hit a subscribe, give us a like, leave a comment below as well. What's your first impressions of Football Manager 26? So with that done, let's get into it and see what we're playing with, shall we? Okay, so first things first then, let's have a quick look at setting our game up. It's the same as what it was in previous versions. You can obviously select your leagues, whether they're playable or whether they're just visible view only. You've obviously got your men's leagues here, you've got your women's leagues as well. Of course, that fantastic inclusion to women's football this year. There's also a little handy tip here. If you click on Add Nations, any nations that appear in green, they include playable women's leagues. So for example, if we go to Asia, we've got Australia and Japan highlighted there. Europe, of course, we've got Denmark, France, England, Germany, Italy, Spain, Sweden. Yeah, so that's just quite handy to sort of like have a little nosy about to say, well, actually, do you know what? I want to have a nation where I can work between the two codes. That's an easy way of identifying that early doors. You can then, of course, decide, as you could in FM24, whether you wanted to play the original mode. So, of course, where all the transfers have already happened. Maybe you want to do the real world setup where, of course, players move in and out as they would in real time. Or there's the Your World game mode as well, where, of course, none of those transfers have happened and you can rewrite history as you go. So once we've selected our leagues, we've then, of course, got to pick a club to manage. And because the Premier League is officially licensed this year, look at this, official Premier League kits for all of these teams here. Wow, we've not had this in before. This is going to be exciting, to be honest. So all of our favourites are in here, and my favourites down here, Sunderland, of course, as we say there, we are using them in our beta save. Relegation favourites? Not even relegation battlers, literally nailed on for relegation apparently. That's going to be a bit worrying, but we'll see how we get on with that one as we go through. And we're going to set this one up. Let's just click Everton, for example, here. So we're going to pick this and we're going to get started with our manager profile as well. As you can see, now plenty of managerial attire to pick from. Gone are the days of just a shirt and a tie and a suit jacket possibly, even maybe a bit casual and just having a polo shirt or a big coat. You can have anything these days. You can have a big hoodie, you can have some lovely gym attire. You can even look like you've gone down to Next and got yourself some t-shirts there, which is quite lovely. I think for this save, let's just give ourselves something nice and simple. Let's pick this actually. Look at that suave fella. Let's get going with this guy. I mean, we can again customize him as much as we want. We can do body types. Let's just look at some hair, because hair's always fun to play around with. Although I do quite like his hair actually. That's quite smart. Not too shabby. We could, if we really, really wanted to, give him something a little bit more floppy. Let's maybe do that. That's quite smart. And then again, oh, actually, do you know what? Let's give him a mullet. Let's give him a mullet. That's what he probably deserves. And also a goatee beard. Why not? Right, that's our manager. He looks quite terrifying, actually. Let's get into it. I don't want to look at his face anymore. So of course, once you've given your manager a name and a date of birth and a place they were born, you then get to pick what their background is. So it's similar again to previous versions. So gone from, no experience at all to generational superstar. I guess because we're managing in the Premier League, maybe we want to be something like a continental icon. Let's click that for that one. Then you can also pick out some non-playing roles. So potentially maybe you've worked in the past as a match official. Maybe you've been a referee who's then become a manager. I don't know if that's actually a thing or not. Maybe it is. It might be a thing. Maybe you were a medical expert. You may be a sports scientist or a doctor. You might even work in recruitment, possibly. You might have been a former head of youth development, maybe an analyst, director of football, or, maybe you've just had some coaching background as well. So let's say, for example, I've been a manager before. And how well am I known for it? Well, it's not going to let me tell you that one. But yeah, that's where I am. That's my previous knowledge there. Actually, you know what? Recognised across the continent. That's where I am, I think. Let's hit next on that one. We're going to have our pro license. And this is interesting now. So first of all, they've got rid of managerial attributes. Okay, so you can see here, there's no attributes for your manager. It's more descriptions and abilities. So that's been something I've been asking for years. And it now looks like it's starting to be implemented within the game. It is only in staff, by the way, at this point. It's not in players yet, because there would be uproar if they took out all the attributes straight away and just gave descriptors. But I think that's a nice touch to start us on a potential new journey. You can pick your coaching style as well. You can pick up to 3, which is quite interesting. I tend to tick entertainer, because why wouldn't I? And I'm also going to tick tactician just for a laugh, because I know nothing about tactics. But there you go. It says here tendencies now: plays entertaining football and a tactical tinkerer. And you know what? Let's go for energetic as well. So we play energetic football on there as well, which is definitely the exact opposite of how I play. We can also pick my personality. So in this example, let's maybe say we are going to be driven for this one. So I'm highly driven as well. You can only pick 1 here. Oh, 2 actually, 2. So driven and accomplished. Let's that, an acclaimed achiever. Now, anyone who's seen me play Football Manager before knows that I am not an achiever at all. I'm very much a baller. So this is what our manager looks like then once we've given our background and our attributes. So yeah, this is the abilities that we've got now. So as you can see, tactically very good, goalkeeping average, authority outstanding. So yeah, that's what the managerial screen looks like. And as you can see, once we've accepted our job, we are greeted with the portal. So this is the first screen you're going to see when you load up Football Manager, and it's your home screen. It's different to how it was in Football Manager 24. There are some things in here that I like. There are some things in here that I'm finding difficult, because obviously it's a brand new game. It's brand new design. There is a little bit of unlearning what you already know. And I will say that from the start. So there might be some things you go, I know this. You might know it until you come to do it, and then you might not know it. You've got your messages tab over here, which is very, very large. And it's also an indicator of how many messages you're going to get throughout your time as a manager. In fact, throughout your day as a manager, there is a lot of messages coming in. We've already got 12 on day 1. There's messages and there's tasks. They are, of course, slightly different. And you'll notice that they are different by icon as well. And there's sort of like some little exclamation marks for things you need to do. Also as well, these icons, once you start to play a little bit more, you'll start to recognize that they are basically attributed to various parts of the game. So your briefcase is obviously finances. This is your squad, so your squad icon, so pre-match prep. You've got selection as well. You've got tactics down here as well. So that's meeting players, meeting staff. So there are, of course, going to be different icons that you will get used to where you can sort of go, oh, actually, I just recognize that, rather than having to read the full thing. So that might be quite handy, possibly going forward. The search bar, for example, itself is already different. So the search bar, so the navigation bar, I should say, used to be down the side on the left-hand side. It's now up the top, as you can see, and it's split into portal and squad and recruitment and match day and club and career. And there's these little drop-downs that come here. Now, the thing that is interesting about this is that when you're on portal, all of the navigation is underneath it. And if you click the drop-down, there's the same. So I don't really know why you need that information twice. But it's there if you would prefer it in drop-down form. In terms of the UI itself, I think it looks pretty clean, to be honest. I know there's a bit of overwhelm about all this stuff that's just thrown at you. I've got the first fixture of the Premier League here, which is great, but that's a month out. Like, you know, like it's a month out, and it's Liverpool versus Bournemouth, and it's not something that's going to be particularly relevant to me. It would be relevant, of course, if it was our fixtures, but our fixtures are here. So we've got fixtures already there, and then we've got generic fixtures here, and then we've got opposition report coming up here, and then we've got stages. Stages, by the way, is leagues. I don't know why they've called the league stages. They just have this time round. Maybe it's more for Champions League. I don't know. But clicking into that with this new tiles and cards system, that brings up the stages, and you can then obviously split your leagues back and forth and go via your countries, nations. You can go into the men's leagues, the women's leagues, and that's your breakdown. You can click into season preview here. It's a bit more crunched than it was last year. Last year it was a full screen. Your Media Dream 11 was more visible. Everton are expected to finish, well, down the bottom here. not in a great way, to be honest. So just if anyone's considering taking on Everton, might be a bit of a challenge. Key players of the leagues, the ins and outs, of course, are in here as well. Yeah, there's not a great deal of information in this screen, but there was never really a great deal of information in that screen before. So there is that. So that jumps you into the league. The fixtures, of course, again, another click, jump, transition into your fixtures. So there's our friendlies and, of course, our league games are all split. And because it's Premier League licensed, the fixtures are in the order that they are in real life. So in this save here, we start our campaign away to Leeds and we finish our campaign away to Spurs. We're at home to Sunderland on the second last day of the season. That could be a massive game for both clubs, to be honest, in this universe. We've got our news site. So if I go back to the portal and we click here on the news, now the news has had a bit of an overhaul. No, that's Liverpool. I don't want to know about Liverpool. There you go. Click on news. Right. News has had a bit of an overhaul. Social media tab has gone. I think it's just been integrated into stuff that's actually important and stuff that's actually interesting. So they are breaking things down a bit more. So you got your for you around the world, Premier League specific news, Championship specific news. And then you can even get into more sites if you want to and just go for specific competitions. So before, you'd have some news that was just irrelevant and it would just flash up. Maybe you'll get that again this year going through, but it's in a different place now. So actually, that sounds like it's died, doesn't it? It's in a better place now. We've done fixtures, we've done opposition reports. At the minute, there's a bit of a breakdown about your opposition squad, gives you your previous meetings, form against each other. The form that the club currently has. So of course this is a friendly, so we're not going to know too much about them just yet. If we then move into our squad, this is where you're going to spend a lot of your time really in the squad screen. So you've got your first team squad here. You click this little button that take you to your under 21s and then your under 18s. So that's how you access your squads. If I want to click on Jordan Pickford, for example, that pops him back up there. I then get Jordan Pickford right in my face. Number one goalkeeper, obviously. Great at one-on-ones, good reflexes, commanding of his area, he's brave, he's aggressive, he's agile. We know all about Jordan Pickford. We know he's class. So that's where you get your player screen. As you can see here, there's a few different roles for a goalkeeper. So ball-playing goalkeeper for Jordan Pickford, no-nonsense goalkeeper. And those roles are split in possession and out of possession. So you'll be able to see what your player is good at. So when you come to change your tactic and you look for your out of possession tactic, you'll be able to look and see if you can match those players with those sort of like attributes that are required and those skill sets. I mean, look, a line holding goalkeeper as well. That's a new one. We might have a look at that. We might do some tactic videos actually and try and break down some of these new roles because there's a lot to learn in this new game. So that's your player screen right there. You've got obviously personal information on the top as well. Search bar is great, by the way. You can search here for things within your game world, so it even goes into emails for you. So I even tried to find, if I tried to search comparison, and it just wasn't there. There was the FMPedia. So let's bring out FMPedia. That's something that you can go and look at, which is really, really interesting. It's kind of like a manual that gives you all the summaries of what things mean and where things are. Well, not where things are, but what things mean within Football Manager. So this is it here. So if you type FMPedia into the search bar, then you can come and you get a load of descriptors. So you've got your glossary in there for terms, which is really handy. So again, so people who are new, or maybe people just do need some stuff clarifying. For me, for example, like there's a lot of terminology in modern day football that I don't particularly understand. There's some new terminology in there that even I'm going, I don't even know what that means. So it's good when you can sort of like jump in here. There is a glossary, like for example, the half space, the pockets of space. Well, I know about pockets, but half space, what on earth? Like, who knows? Who needs to know? So that's in there. That's really, really useful to sort of explain some of the terms that are in Football Manager. And then stats as well. So this one, for example, opposition passes per defensive action. I've seen that written down. I've tried to understand it. I've had Musterman sit with me for hours trying to explain that to me. And you know what? He might as well have tried to explain astrophysics to me. I think I'd have got that quicker. But it's in there now, and I can now break it down a little bit more, potentially. While we're in the recruitment tab, let's stay in the recruitment tab here, shall we? This screen for me feels like there's loads of information and also not much information at the same time. Now, player database, Great, we can go and search for our players. This is our incoming and outgoing transfer activity. Here's our budget. So at the minute, 13.25 million for Everton for budgets. But what's interesting, and I would recommend you all look at this, there's a little tile down here called clauses. Now, these are often hidden in Football Manager 24, trying to find clauses for extra bits of money. Well, here, if you were to sell all of your clauses as an Everton manager, you can generate another £61 million right at the start. So that can boost your transfer budget from 13 million to, I've got to try and do maths on the fly, haven't I? 74 million. So you might want to do that. We've got transfer room out and in here, which of course is the brand new thing. So there's 229 opportunities. Now, what this is clubs looking for specific players, player roles, I should say, sorry. As you can see here, clubs can essentially put on, like Facebook Marketplace, you know, we are looking for a backup wing back. And, you know, this is what we're trying to sell for your club. And yeah, it's just really handy that you can then go in and you might have a player that you want to sell. So you can sort of go, well, actually, I can target this specific club. So for example, you know, the Leverkusen want a centre-back. It says here, I've clicked here, they've got 3 players that match Leverkusen's requirements. We've got James Tarkowski, we've got Braithwaite, we've got Jake O'Brien. We could look to maybe try and offer them out a little bit to say, hey, we've got some centre-backs. Would you be interested in a centre-back? What about one of these guys? And it's a little bit more being able to target specific sales again. So if Crystal Palace want a striker, maybe we could sell them Beto, maybe we could sell them Ndai, maybe we could sell them Tieno Barry. It maybe allows, because I know people said before that selling players on Football Manager was quite tricky. Maybe this is going to help. And then of course on the flip side, if you want a player, you can create your own requirements. So you can say, look, I want a right winger, for example, in possession. We can then of course change to an out of possession as well. But let's say I just want a right winger, and I want an important first team player. So I want a really, really good right winger. And we can click that, and then that just, our advert goes out there. Then eventually clubs will start going, hey, Everton need a right winger. Right. Do you want to come and get our guy over here? And they might offer you that player. I think it could be a nice focus. And then speaking of focuses, there's your recruitment focus tab, which, I mean, again, some people will say it's a bit messy. I don't mind it, to be honest. I think it looks all right. One thing as well you can't do at the minute is you can't. So, for example, if we put Jeremy Jacquet here, we click on him, you can't change the colours of the attributes. Now, some managers, myself included, like to tweak those for league ability. So, like, for example, 14 in heading might be incredible in the Championship, but it might be okay in the Premier League. So I would maybe, like, you might just keep that as 14. But if I was in the Championship, I might have that as bright green and go, that's mint. Anyone who's got 14 for heading, get them in. By the time the full game launches, maybe that'll be something that'll be in there, possibly. Player recommendations, again, similar to how it was before. Yeah, you can have it as cards, or you can have it as a list. Again, whichever you prefer. To be honest, it's just a list of player names at the end of the day, isn't it, really? But you'll spend a lot of time in here, presumably doing recruitment. Squad planner, of course, is still there. You need to set your tactic up first. So let's go to that. I'm going to go for a wing player tactic, I think. And we're breaking it down. We've got our visualizer here for what the tactic's going to look like. You know, what is the positives, the negatives of playing with wing play. Again, this is all stuff that's been in before, but it feels like it's a little better explained this year round. Got suggested player types, so again, if you're not sure what to do, I know there's always the little thumbs here, but they are there. So let's click wing play, for example, get those crosses in, maybe utilise Jack Grealish a lot. And then we're going to go to, I'm going to say a 4-3-3, why not? 4-3-3 in possession. But then out of possession, we might want to do something different. So we might, for example, want to really make everybody compact and get players tucking in, or go like a 3-4-3. So we might have our wingers staying out there, but maybe push our defenders back. So let's do that. So it's a 4-3-3 in possession, a 3-4-3 out of possession. I don't know whether this is going to work or not, by the way. And that then allows you to see your squad planner. But if we go to the tactic, which is in match day, by the way. See what I mean about some stuff doesn't make sense about where it is. So, like, squads, match days, recruitment, like some of these terms, you'd think maybe they should be under the same thing, like squad and tactics should be in the same place. But to do tactics, you go to match day rather than squad I should say, by the way, I am learning where things are. When you first get this game, there will be a couple of things you go, I don't know where this is. So I would use the search bar and then use your bookmarks as well. Start really like drilling things down, going, where is X? And you'll find it in here. Match preparation, set piece preparation, again, very similar to what you already know. Training, I'll do training before we get into tactics. Training, some people like it, some people hate it. It's the same as last time. You click in. Again, maybe make this a little bit more visual for me personally. I don't do training anyway, so at least try and like drive me to these screens. The tactics though, I am more interested in the tactics this year, but this is what you got then when you get into your tactics screen. So you've got your combined roles. So this is obviously what you look like when you're in possession, okay? But you see how everyone's got a double role here? So this player here, he's a DM when he's in possession, but then he's a screening defensive midfielder when he's out of possession. So it looks like this. So there's your in possession. So if we put a DM here, you can obviously change that to deep line playmaker or halfback if you need to. This one's quite an interesting one. This is midfield playmaker. So this is our creative threat. What have we got here? Wide forward. Okay, so it's a little bit more defensive, stays wide. And of course, you've got your player instructions as well. You can sort of tweak these a little bit more. And then you go to your out of possession. See how the shape's changed, okay? You've now got your wide midfielder. Okay, you've got a tracking wide midfielder, so they track back, support the defense. You've got your outlet wide midfielder, which I really like, by the way. That's a great role. They stay high, they're good for counterattacks. And again, the descriptions of what these players can do and the animation that goes alongside it, that's really helpful as well. Okay, that's really, really helpful as well. And it's a little bit better than it has been in previous years. And then, of course, you can see both side by side. So you can see what you look like in possession and then whether your players fit that when you go to out of possession. Okay, if you then go to team instructions, okay, team instructions have got a bit more of a visual approach. There's finally some visuals in the game. Some people don't like the icons here. I don't mind it, you know. I don't mind it at all. And then I do like the fact that things are broken down into your zones. So you can have your defensive third, your midfield third, your final third. And this obviously just changes and allows you to see what the team would look like in play, which is really, really nice as well. And then again, you're out of possession. So for us here, we're all sat there in a low block. This is what a mid block would look like. You can decide your pressing traps. So you're going to go inside, outside, forwards, backwards. And of course going up front as well to be a bit more engaged. So if we keep our team in that low block, it's probably how we would play things, to be honest. And the mentality is the same. And yeah, we'll do a video about tactics a bit later on. If you then go to your club, that's your overall screen right here. So here's your affiliates, here's your facilities, here's your supporters' expectations. Job report, by the way, is beneath my head here. I'll probably be looking for that after about 3 weeks in the game. Your requests, your club visions. So that's sort of like a high level look at what there is on day one. I mean, going into your squad again, you can get access to things from here. So here's your squad list, as we say. Your tactics are here, your training, your youth setup. So if I go into the actual Premier League itself, so click on the league rather than the stage, that takes you to the league. That then allows you to find your stats, which is your player stats. So you find your player stats here. Obviously, there's no games played just yet, so there's nothing to compare just yet, but that's where you'd find it. And then, of course, when you get to the data side of things, the data hub, I presume we can't get the data hub until we're a few games in. Let's show you a bit of data. So I'm gonna do what the cool kids do. Holiday, a few games in, and I'll show you some data. So we'll do a wipe. We'll be back in 2 seconds. I said I was going to look at data, but while I was holidaying through, I realised the Merseyside derby had come up. So let's have a quick little look then. Away against Liverpool. That'll give you a bit of an idea as to what the match day experience looks like. I'm not going to show the full game, but we will have a quick little look at some of the graphics, some of the match day presentation. We'll do a separate video about data, actually, I reckon, and we'll have a little look at that, and I'll give you some final thoughts about what I reckon on my first look at the game is and what I think we are, because to be honest, there is also a bit of thing here. There's no gestures anymore now as to trying to get your players fired up. You've just got to be like, right, There's no sort of tones. There's no pump fists. There's no throw water bottles. I don't know what we're going to do this year. There's no thrown water bottles. There is also no touchline shouts. So again, you're going to have to get a little bit creative around what you do when it comes to G'ing your team up in real life, because there's no demand more, encourage. Certainly, if you're in my streams or watching how I play the game, there's never praise. There is never praise. There's definitely berate. We have that quite a bit. This drone, okay, it looks cool, but it does give me a little bit of motion sickness every now and again. It's a little bit too whoa for me, which I'm not really sold on personally. I get why it's there, but I think it's just because I don't know whether it's the screen refresh rate or what, or the fact that I need to get my contact lenses checked or my glasses checked. I don't know, but it's pretty cool. It does look much better than it did before, and it starts to look like an actual game and some actual presentation. So there is that. I shouldn't be picky, because we've asked for match day presentation and to make things look better. Then they've given us it, and I've went, but not like that. As the game plays out, as you can see, mixing between highlights into this sort of 2D screen where everything goes very quick. Very, very quick. It takes my eyes a little bit of time to focus on what's going on. And then by that point, I don't really know what's happened. Then I'm into the next highlight, so I'm struggling to find context with what's going down. Oh, good effort. Just gone wide. Actually, no, it's been tipped wide for a corner. Good save by Pickford. Some more stuff done for the video. Salah goes down the wing. Oh, hang on, that's a Rabona back in. That was brilliant. What a goal that is. Actually, did you see that? There was a Rabona cross from Salah, then a volley, and Wirtz has scored. So I think it's Isaac who has the first shot. Watch this. Have a look at this. Oh my word, that is filthier than a miner's bootlace. Blocked, Wirtz with the volley. Unbelievable animation. I'm not against learning a new game. I felt as though we've been sort of like sleepwalking for the past few years with Football Manager. That's 3-0. Right. I think we're getting absolutely hammered here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to watch the highlight here. I'm going to give my final thoughts, and then I'm going to let you make your own decisions in the comments below. So let's watch this one more time. Ball's crossed in, nice cross. Isaac gets up, wins the header, and Wirtz taps it home. 3-0 after 33 minutes. Liverpool look unplayable in this game. Okay, so final thoughts then on Football Manager 26. There's stuff that I like. Okay, there is stuff that I like. It's new. The UI is clean. Some of the animations in the match day experience are great in the actual match engine. That Rabona from Salah, by the way, was ridiculous. That looks awesome to see. I know we had Rabonas before, but that looked slick. I like seeing players challenge for the ball, using their body for headers. That's good. Do I feel like I'm getting involved in the match day and then the match as a manager myself? No, I don't feel like I'm involved just yet. I feel like I'm watching it from the stands. Now, whether that changes as time goes on and I get more used to it, I don't know. Possibly. Maybe it is going to be a thing where you just need to get used to it. I'm willing to give that time to develop and think about it like that. The UI is counterintuitive in some senses, and it is so backward in other senses. There are things that don't make sense. There are things that defy logic. But again, I think it's the fact that we've expected stuff in certain areas and it's not there. Maybe it's that. Is it the greatest football manager of all time? No. Was it going to be the greatest football manager of all time? No. Is it a decent start for a new era of football manager games? Yes. It is a decent start for a new era of football manager games. Is it better than Football Manager 24 at this exact moment in time? Probably not. But that's fine. Visually, it looks like a step up. In terms of what you can do in the game, yes, there's some stuff missing. Yes, it's annoying. I don't know how that's going to impact the way that I play long-term because I've had the game for literally a few hours. Okay, I play long-term saves. What is things like no deadline day going to do for me? What is no cup presentation going to do for me in terms of cup draws? I never really bother with the cup draws anyway, so that's not a major thing. But some people love that. The deadline day thing, maybe, if you're doing that in your lower league club and you're really scrabbling for a player, you might miss that. You might need that. So that could be a thing that annoys me after a while. Is it the best football manager available right now? No. Football Manager 24 is still the best football manager available right now. Is it a great platform to start building on? And in maybe 2 or 3 years, are we going to get the best football manager game of all time? Yes, we are. Yes, it's a fantastic building block to start on. And that's what I think we all need to consider. And as we need to sort of let things develop over the course of time. International management will come back in. The World Cup license will come back in. Online modes is a thing I've not looked at yet. I don't know whether online modes are going to be a thing. Modding is going to be a huge thing in the community. People want skins, face packs, kit packs, logo packs, all that stuff. That will come in time, right? But right now, as we are day one, essentially, first impressions overall, pretty good, I think. Would I tell you to go and buy it? I would say you probably need to do a bit of research. I would say if you're willing to invest the time in learning it, then it's worth getting into. Or what the best way to do it is, check out people who are making content, like myself, for example. I'm streaming Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays with the Sunderland Till I Cry beta save, and then we're going to go into the Journeyman when the new game comes in the 4th of November. So if you want to see us play it, try and get us, ask some questions about, how are people finding it? Where's this? Where's that? What does that do? Come into the streams and ask us, right? Monday, 9 o'clock, Wednesday, 9 o'clock, Friday, 9 o'clock. And then if you want to check out the videos, they're going to be on YouTube as well. We're going to break the saves down into little videos. So that is going to come. So yeah, that's where we are. Overall, it's all right. It's not bad. Is it groundbreaking? Yeah, no, maybe not at the minute. Has it got potential? Absolutely it has. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And yeah, good or bad. Because that's the thing. That's how we have discussion. Good or bad. Let me know how you think. And if you want some more questions, come and see me on stream. We'll see you there. Take it easy, everyone. Catch you in a bit.